Is this mouth? And fancy seeing you here in June. Are very welcome, my friends, and especially my enemies. Come in, sit down, no touching. I don't do the touching. Welcome back to Big Mouth, and you can keep this or any other conversation I ignite going on over on my Twitter at Movies TV Mad, over on my Vero at Big Mouth 1, and the extension to this channel, kind of, because I've been talking about dceu on it this morning as well, is my Instagram, Big Mouth 11289. So come and follow and ignore the dancing and the posing and the vanity. That's all part of Instagram, isn't it? A very massive welcome. I didn't plan on doing a dceu daily today. As you all know, I was planning on getting back to normal once I get back to Cyprus from this Sunday. But this is massive. This is massive because the director of the Flash movie has confirmed it will be a Flashpoint movie like I predicted months ago on this channel, and a lot of you called me a liar. You said you don't have any sources. This is evidence that I'm in touch with the dceu reality, not the fantasists who kept on saying that Andy Machete, or Machete, or however you pronounce his surname, sorry Andy, great respect for your work by the way, was going to jump ship like the other directors. This is Walter Hamada's dceu. There's leadership now, organisation. And as much as I love Man of Steel and Batman v Superman, the organisation in running a franchise wasn't there before, and it is now. Andy Machete is going nowhere. He's another from the Shark Tank of New Line Cinema. So we're going to read an article about this and see what's going on. This proves to me that Ezra Miller got his way. This is why he didn't jump ship. This is why they were, and he was talking about a darker Flash movie, and Flashpoint is that. And isn't it interesting? The original Flash director and Zack Snyder always wanted a Flashpoint movie. Very interesting. Does this give us hope that Snyder could come back, that we could get the Snyder Cut? I have no idea. But today we're talking about Flashpoint. For me, this is so exciting. For people saying it's too soon, you can, as I've said before on this channel, and I'll say it again, you can balance a great origin story with a Flashpoint story. So let's read this and then we'll react to it. DC's Flash movie is still Flashpoint, but different than the comic. DC's long stating the Flash movie has often been rumoured to be an adaptation of the iconic Flashpoint comic book storyline. And while it appears that it is still the case, it won't be following the comic too closely. The project has already seen a litany of directors boring attached to it come and go, leaving some fans fearing if the Flash would ever actually see the light of day. It was always going to see the light of day. But with a 2022 release date confirmed and It Chapter 2 director Andres Machete still committed to the picture, things seem back on track for the superhero blockbuster. Ezra Miller, who portrayed Barry, Allen in The Flash in both Batman v Superman, Dawn of Justice and Justice League, is expected to reprise his role as the Scarlet Speedster, which will be the legendary superhero's first solo big screen outing. After the financial success of Aquaman and Wonder Woman at the box office, the critical applause for Shazam, and the popularity of the Flash TV show, Warner Bros. Will no doubt have high hopes for the flick. Now, via that hashtag show, Machete has hinted at the creative direction that the movie will veer towards. He clarified previous rumours, but not in the way fans may have expected. He stated the film would be a different version of Flashpoint than you're expecting. Whether this rules out a traditional origin story for a character or suggests such a tale will be combined with elements of the Flashpoint saga remains to be seen. The original Flashpoint story, of course, depicted Barry Allen speeding back through time to prevent his mother's murder, only to return to a present very different from the one he left behind. Here, he found a world where Superman is missing, Aquaman and Wonder Woman are at war, and Bruce Wayne was murdered as a boy, and leading to his father becoming a gun-toting version of the Dark Knight, and his mother becoming the Joker. And if that sounds like a great motion picture, it has in fact already been made into an animated movie, and it's a great animated movie, by the way. However, we don't know how many of these original plot points Machete will be bringing to the table. Remember, Andy Machete is the director of this film, but the writing will be down to somebody else, adapting the idea from Ezra Miller and the legendary comic book writer whose name escapes me. That story that they constructed is still there. And the writer of Birds of Prey, Christina Hodgson, will adapt Ezra Miller's and the comic book writer's story. So very exciting. But Andy Muschietti is a very, very good director, and he's a great choice. This looks like it's going to be the darker Flash movie that Zack Snyder and Ezra Miller originally wanted, which is great news for us Snyder fans. Chances are this isn't going to be a major crossover disguised as a solo adventure, similar to what happened to Captain America Civil War turned out to be. With not what you're expecting, quote, it could be just that a time travel element is included in the plot, nah, and it will be as far as influences from the comic go, nah. Reverse Flash as a villain could also be a factor, yes, he'll be involved as it was in the graphic novel. Clearly Muschietti's comments had led to more questions than answers, but all will become clear when the Flash sprints into cinemas in 2022. I hope I live to see that. I'm 47 now, I'll be 49, and I'm still going to be this childish nerd, really excited to see this film. Now, I want to reiterate the comments that he said this is not the Flashpoint we're expecting. Let's put this on here. Right, yeah, let's get talking about this now. This is not the Flashpoint we're expecting. Now, Andres Muschietti has been doing a lot of talking about the Flash movie, but this is the most detail we've had from Andres. So what can we expect? First of all, it's not a Flashpoint movie we're expecting. So there is a Flashpoint element to it. Now, of course, Back to the Future Part 2 was very heavily influenced by the Flashpoint comic book graphic novel story. It's a great story. And so we saw Marty McFly go to the future to save his son, comes back to a very different 1985, which literally is heavily kind of ruled by Biff Tannen. So I don't know what they're going to do here with this story. It looks like this is going to be a Flashpoint in terms of Barry doing something, damaging something, and then when he gets back, everything's slightly different. Also, we have to look at Grace Randall's rumour of Wonder Woman doing a Flashpoint thing. Now, I told you ages ago there's multiple cuts of Wonder Woman 1984, like there is of all movies in the modern era, right? They cut multiple ones, and then the filmmakers in the studio decide which cut they're going to go with. One of the cuts was Wonder Woman doing something which changes the DCEU, most probably making sure that Steve Trevor comes back to life. I think, and this is an interesting thing now, maybe whatever happens in Wonder Woman 1984 bleeds into the Flash movie, and maybe that's what Andres Muschietti is actually talking about. So have that in mind. Have that in mind. I've been talking to a few people on the inside of this, and they've told me some very, very interesting things, and I can't really go into them too much, but what I will say to you is, when someone says it's not the Flashpoint movie you're expecting, that really interests me. Just the fact that he's mentioned Flashpoint and it's going to have elements of a Flashpoint story is exciting. But when someone, and I'm going to keep on saying this while we're talking about this, not the Flashpoint story we're expecting, then I do think about Wonder Woman 1984. I've kind of been thinking, oh, they're not going to use that Flashpoint story. But maybe what happens in Wonder Woman 1984 is so vital, so important, so massive within the DCEU universe that it does bleed in the other DCEU movies. Now, it's kind of interesting because it doesn't look like the Batman is part of the DCEU, but nothing's been confirmed. You know, Shazam and Black Adam, Birds of Prey, all part of the DCEU, even though the Birds of Prey movie is a very self-contained film. But apparently we've been told, by the way, just taking a break from Flashpoint, that in the third act, Harley Quinn comes to her senses and she starts seeing things clearly, which is very, very interesting. Will we see what happens to her and how that leads her into what part she plays in James Gunn's The Suicide Squad? Again, very, very interesting. I think we won't know what's happening with the Flashpoint Flash movie until we see Wonder Woman 1984. Are they going to rewrite course correct? Not my words, just an example so you understand what I'm talking about. Are they going to course correct what's going on with the DCEU to move away from the Snyder universe? Or will they be moving further back to what Zack Snyder did? It's all becoming very interesting, very exciting. It's so good for me to be able to say, yes, Andy Muschietti is going to be directing this picture. No more quitting. This is Walter Hamada's DCEU, as I say. The only film I think is at threat from not happening right now is New Gods, Ava DuVernay's New Gods. I just got the impression that maybe this was never a Walter Hamada commission, a green light, if you like. And they don't, I mean, she keeps on saying it's in development, so obviously that's not going to be released anytime soon. So they've got some kind of space and, you know, time to actually develop that film. And I hope they do, and I hope it's a great movie. I don't think that Ava DuVernay has really proved herself yet. She's clearly a solid, talented director, but whether she could create an epic New Gods movie is another case in point. And right now, whatever you think, whether you're in the kind of school of thought that Zack should come back and, you know, Walter Hamada isn't doing a great job, or if you love, like what I do, like you support Release the Slammer Cut, but you love what Walter Hamada's doing, I think the plan is going really, really well. There's movies coming in. We've got 2 DCEU movies next year, and I think as from 2021 onwards, we'll have 3, maybe even 4 DCEU movies. It's all very, very exciting. So in 2021, for example, we've got the Batman and the Suicide Squad, and I think the Black Adam, is it the Black Adam movie, or is that 2022? Look, I'm confused. I don't know anymore. I'm going to have to write it all down. But we do have a slate now for the next few years. That's very important, because I remember doing these videos at first and not even knowing what's going to happen. If the DCEU will continue, there was a lot of rumours about reboots, just throwing the DC movie universe away. That was never going to happen. There's money. There's money. Aquaman proved people want to see these films. Shazam proved that families and children will come in and watch DC content if it's attractive to them. Adults proved, men and women, that they wanted to see a movie like Todd Phillips and Joaquin Phoenix's The Joker movie. What Walter Hamada is constructing here is very, very special. And credit to Walter Hamada. He sat down with Ezra Miller. He knew that Warner Brothers didn't want to lose him. They have an exclusive contract with Ezra, and they don't want to lose that. He's one of the big actors for them. So he didn't want a light and fluffy MCU Flash movie. And this is what happened. But for me personally, I'm very excited. I don't know how they're going to do this Flashpoint. I do suspect it might bleed through from whatever happens in Wonder Woman 84 is going to bleed through to the other movies. And that's why Andrus is saying this is it's not a Flashpoint movie that you're expecting. Just maybe consequences of what happened in Wonder Woman 1984. Why not mention the Wonder Woman movie? Because they can't yet. Because the general public haven't seen it. Now, the one version I saw of Wonder Woman 84, which was a cut down of 90 minutes, wasn't the Flashpoint version. And that's why I suspect the version that I saw, the cut down I saw, I'll never see that again. It's going to be the Flashpoint, and this could confirm that. Now, last night on Twitter, I was saying maybe this confirms they're not doing Flashpoint on Wonder Woman, but I thought about it in the way Andrus was talking about this, and I do suspect that whatever happens in the Flash movie is a consequence of what happens in Wonder Woman 1984. Now, this is exciting to me because it shows continuity. And that's very important that we get that continuity now. So as I say, I am pumped for this. This is why I did a video today, because I wasn't planning on doing one till Sunday. But I want to know what you think. Are you excited for the future of the DCEU as I am? Are you excited about this Flashpoint news? What could it mean? What's it going to be about? Are we going to have the same Iris that we had in Zack Snyder's Justice League movie? I think Ezra will make sure that she stays in the role because she deserves it. She's been patient, she's been quiet, she's been awesome. Very talented young woman as well. So that's who I want to play Iris West. But I'm excited for the Flash is like a bit like Green Lantern. It's a universe all on its own, the Flash family. In a limited way, we've seen the potential of that in the Flash TV series. But with motion picture budgets, we have got a very, very exciting future I have faith in Andres Blaschetti in doing this. I'm very, very confident about Christina Hodgson and the way she adapts stuff. And I expect her to adapt what Ezra Miller and the comic book writer did. So, as I say, let me know what you think. Like, share, and subscribe. Share the channel as well. And comment. Yeah, I just want to know what you think about this, because I've been buzzing since Andres Blaschetti started talking about this last night. So keep it coming. Like, share, and subscribe. And I'll be back on Sunday. I might be back tomorrow with more DCEU Daily. You know what? I may just surprise you.